so welcome to your first session. Thank you for understanding about the cat. So I took a look at your answers to the questionnaire. Just had a few quick questions to just quickly go over. For question 2, when we talked about undershooting with punishing and overshooting, love your answers. This is absolutely, very textbook, close to what I'd provide myself. Would you, based on your first one for undershooting, it sounds like you're aware of this, but I'll just confirm. Are you aware that the 3 of these exist in a rock, paper, scissors triangle?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was like super obvious, but I just figured I had to check that. And then the other one is, really, you put 2/6 in the Jigglypuff number pad?
Was it supposed to be ordered by like how?
No, I mean,
supposed to be ordered by how much of how oppressive each thing is.
I guess it's not explicitly stated, but I'm just surprised at the inclusion of 2 at all.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how to interpret the question, so she has 5 aerials, so I'll hit those 5 spaces.
I see. No. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, this one, people often read that one, but what I'm really looking for is which ones does she hit best? Like, what are the ones that are like 5? I consider she just has because that's where she occupies. So I don't really count 5 as in the model at all. But knowing that, knowing that it's the ones that she's most oppressive in, i.e. the ones that she hits the most effectively with the best balance of threat and disjoint, what would your answer be?
It's definitely 4 and 8 then. Maybe 6.
Yeah, I would include 6, but I would generally say that it's like the gray area. But 4 and 8, absolutely. Now, based on that, what does that tell us about where we want to be relative to Jigglypuff?
Not there.
Right, so where do we want to be?
Like on the numpad?
Just relative to her body. Like, if 1, 2, 3 are open, that's below her. Where else do we have?
7 and 9.
Yeah, which are what? Like, how would we
like
just
diagonally above her?
Yeah, exactly. And if we think about how, like, Fox players, for example, fight Hungrybox, what do their positions usually look like? Probably those, right?
Yeah.
They're usually trying to get under her, or they're trying to attack from an angle for, like, the weak and air up smash stuff, or, like, weak and air up air. Like, it's always like that. The point of this question is to get us thinking about, like, position broadly and how we can understand it as a function of the opponent's tools.
Right.
Yeah, because, like, it's not that Fox just goes underneath Jigglypuff because, you know, that's what he feels like doing. It's because there's a concrete reason behind where her threats are that makes going under. Yeah. So, with that in mind, that's really it. Win condition, pretty much like what I have. It's I view it more as like the point that the opponent can't fight back. Like if you have Luigi above Marth on FD with no jump, or Fox recovering from below like the stage without a jump.
Right.
They only have one option, right? Which is basically like hope and pray. Whenever the opponent's option is hope and pray, that's usually, the point where advantage.
That makes sense, yeah.
Exactly. So, that was quick. Glad we got that out of the way. Let me ask you, so how do you view this time being productive? I know that we've kind of talked about, when we talked about goals, I told you that I'm counting on you to have the SLPs or matches uploaded to YouTube. Were you able to get to do that?
Yeah, I have sets from,
Perfect.
I guess we can do this one. I was just at Battle BC this weekend.
Oh, nice. How'd you do?
I got 65th, which is the round before you make it out. I lost to Leffen and Younger, so I'm pretty alright with that.
Yeah, they're both good. Like, Leffen did about as well as I thought he would, given, like, his lack of preparation, but he's still, like, a monster. And honestly,
when I was playing him, I was like astounded at his dash dance. Like the way he's able to control space without actually putting himself at risk is so. It was crazy to play against. I felt like I couldn't hit him ever, but he was always able to hit me.
Honestly, yeah, and I bet like as a Fox player yourself, like that's gotta be just. It's one of those moments where you really like see what your character is capable of, kinda, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that feeling. That's kind of how I had. That's kind of like one of the feelings I had when I went to my first like super big major. Actually, no, it was more like probably my third one. So, yeah, it would have been like when I went to ROM, like Revival of Melee way back, because I think that Dreffen and like Mewtwo King and like they were there, and I just remember like looking at them, and I had been playing Sheik for a couple of years at that point, and I just saw what they were doing, and I went, man, they're so good.
Yeah. That's how I feel watching Cody play ever, at all. Just anytime he's doing anything on the screen, it's like, wow, he's really just got it. That's crazy.
I know, right? Like, he's just Mr. Schwab. Who knew?
Yeah.
All right, so where's the set that we keep talking about?
Okay, so this is my set with Younger. It was 3-1 in his favor.
Okay.
And it was best of 5 because it was the one to make it out.
Gotcha. And which game is the first one? Is it ordered?
It would start on Dreamland and then go Yoshi's and then Battlefield and then FD.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm just gonna download all of them, and then we're just gonna see what order they're in. Downloads. Okay. 49. No, 24. 40. Okay, cool. So those are timestamps. So let's just see which one this is. You said Dreamland? Okay, gotcha. Cool. So we are good. I'm just gonna move these over into the folder, and then we should be able to play them all conveniently. And I'll share my screen. And where is it? Excellent.
I also would like to talk about just like general tournament stuff at some point, just because I have the Oregon Arcadians tomorrow.
Oh, yo, like if you want to talk tournament stuff, absolutely. So when you say tournament stuff, I'm assuming that you mean mindset or something like that.
Yeah, like in that vein.
Okay, so talk to me about that. Like, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so while I'm just getting like the settings figured out, why don't you talk to me about like mindset and like where you're thinking that you might have, like what do you mean by mindset? Do you mean like nerves? Do you mean like what happens?
I think in general, just like when we had talked a couple days ago, and you asked me like, what's your biggest weakness? I was thinking about that question a lot, just in general. And I think the answer that I came to is that I am very prone to, in tournament, forcing neutral interactions that I just like don't need to be playing. And so it kind of does this loop where we'll be in a neutral situation, I'll even be up sometimes, and I'll like feel this need to play an interaction with the opponent, and then I won't play it perfectly, or I'll miss up tech skill or something, and then I just die for it. And it's like, I think versus Falco it gets me a lot because they get so much out of reversals. So like, there's so many players that I'll play where like, if I'm just playing on point, then it doesn't even matter. I can just roll them over and I'll like 3-stock them. But like, the next game I will get 4-stocked or 3-stocked just because it's like, I'm not playing exactly perfectly. And so like, I don't know, I think in general I force myself to have to play at a 9 out of 10 to win every set because of how I play. And I feel like that's bad.
So it sounds like would I be correct in discerning that you might be have a slight perfectionist streak?
Oh, for sure, yeah. And everything.
So that is usually, I find that usually goes hand in hand with what you're describing. I naturally am not at all. I have never had that problem. Kappa. And like obviously Cap, but it's super common. Perfection is very, very dangerous, I think, because it's not a realistic goal, and I'm sure that you've heard that before. Like, well, actually, you? Okay.
A million times.
So what stops you from connecting with that? You think?
I think I do. I connect with it at a logical level. Yes, it makes sense. I get it. I understand it. I comprehend it. But then when I'm just like, when I'm in the moment playing the game, it doesn't, like, my subconscious doesn't do that.
Okay.
It's just very insistent on trying to win every interaction, trying to play every situation as best as I can. As best as it should be played, rather. Not as best as I can. It's very frequently not as best as I can because I don't execute to that level, so then I'll miss a shine out of shield or something or whatever.
So my question there would be, let's assume that you do hit the execution on most of your situations, like 90%, 95% of them. is that like would you still find that like in the would you still like mainly focus in on the 5% of situations you played incorrectly, or like where you messed up, or something happened, or do you think that you would be focused more on the stuff you did well, given that it's such a high proportion of the match?
I think it.
Does it depend on the outcome?
I don't know if it depends on the outcome as much as it depends on how the opponent responded to it.
What's the difference?
Like if I play a set with someone and I do miss 5% in the execution and they just like kill me off of those 5 interactions because their punish game is so good, it's hard for me to be pressed about it because like they were just able to kill me every single time. It doesn't matter. But like if I play with someone and then those 5% of situations that I messed up led to like me SDing at very crucial moments or something, and it's like, oh well, if I just didn't mess up those 5 times, even if I messed up other times, those 5 times led to me losing, then I'd be pressed about it.
So wait, I'm not sure. I think you've got me lost. So if the opponent like kills you for your mistake in those 5% of interactions, then you're okay with it.
I think it's if I perceive that I just got outplayed, then it's fine because I just wasn't good enough to win. But like if it's not
But how do you define what an outplay is?
Well, because like sometimes I'll play versus people and they very clearly are just better than me at the game holistically, and so it's like, oh, when they hit me, I die for more. When they play neutral with me, they have a better understanding of the mix-up. So even if I play the best that I can, it's not good enough because it's just like not at that same level. Like when I played versus Leffen, I think I executed pretty well in that set, but it didn't like I didn't feel bad about losing it because like he's just so clearly on a different level. It doesn't even matter.
Okay. But he's also like, so I guess my question there would be is like, do you think that people can't be upset? Or that upsets shouldn't happen?
I don't know.
I know. I ask very annoying questions.
Yeah. Do I think upsets shouldn't happen?
Mm-hmm.
I think I just don't. I don't really think about it like that.
How do you think about it?
Like upsets should upsets happen? I don't know. I think I try to avoid thinking about bracket results like that. Like, it's not, oh, this person was seated above me, so they should upset me. But it's like, it's just playing the game. It's not an upset. It's just how the person performs in the moment. So like, if Leffen was not better than me and I just executed better, it might be an upset, but like, he just didn't play as well.
So let me, just to be clear, if it's just whoever's playing better in the moment, does that mean that you think that, let's say that this wasn't younger, let's say this was like some random guy who like nobody has ever heard of, do you think that you would be do you think you would take this loss as like well as you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Because because I guess the premise is we're just evaluating him on the quality of play, right?
Right. That's what I try to do, at least. That's what I think I do.
Okay.
In the moment, I might have a different response, but thinking about myself, like genuinely trying to think about how I'd respond to it, I think I would not be pressed at all if they just played better in the set. Then they played better in the set. There's nothing. I can't argue with that.
That's a really good mentality then. Yeah, I would say that you're already on a good track then. If that's really your position, amazing. Like that's a great starting point. So when do you find it generally doesn't go that way? Like when do you
What do
find
you mean?
when do you find that you start to freeze up and things start to go poorly? I know you mentioned that it's the penalty of getting hit in certain matchups. Are there any other times that like it's difficult to kind of keep that holistic view in mind?
I really don't know if I could give you like a consistent, solid answer. For me, it just feels a lot like sometimes I'll be playing the game and I just won't be able to do anything. Like I'll just freeze up for no real reason that I could point out to you, but it's just I just will not move the character or something, and like it takes a stock getting lost on some end for me to like warm back up and realize that like, oh, this is melee. I should be playing the video game with me right now. Like I think I say to myself very often is like, just play the video game. Why aren't you playing the video game right now?
So does that happen in this set at all?
I'm not sure. I don't remember the games that specifically.
Let's watch.
Probably. I think it happens to me like all the time.
Let's watch from the beginning then, and like you tell me and point out to me if you think it's happening. I've slowed it down a little bit just so it's like easier to follow, but let me know if this speed works for you. And again, we're looking to point out if you zone out basically. Because right now you're looking pretty good to me.
Yeah, I think in this tournament I was pretty. I was more locked in during bracket than I normally am.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Why do you think that might be?
I really don't know. I hadn't played melee at all in the week leading up to this bracket, which honestly might be the solution. Leading up to this, I hadn't been having fun with the game much at all, really. I hadn't really been feeling it. So
Okay.
I was just playing other games. I was playing a lot of like Counter-Strike and Valorant and stuff, but like. So yeah, going in, I had no expectation of doing well, I guess.
Gotcha. That's probably a big part of it. Expectation usually one of the big things that blocks us in those moments.
For sure.
What kind of what was making melee not fun prior?
I don't know. I had just been putting a lot of time in, and then every bracket I'd play in, I would feel really, really stressed out. Like I remember one local I went to, I was playing with someone, and during the set, it was the round one of the tournament. It was versus a person that I've beaten like 1,700 times. I could win the set over and over if I needed to. But like in the moment, I won the set, but it's like it almost felt like I was having a panic attack. I was just freaking out and freaking out and freaking out. I just couldn't get my head in the game. And then I had to play another person who's a person I usually lose to, and then I lost that set and I felt the same. And like the local wasn't fun because I just felt so terrible in and out of the game. I was just like sitting in the corner with my headphones on trying to calm myself down. I don't know what was up. And so after that I was like, I need to stop playing melee. I gotta do something else. Because clearly this isn't working.
So something I noticed about those two sets that you're describing is you've brought up your record against both players.
Yeah.
Does the record really matter?
I don't think so. I think I was just like trying to frame it better for. I don't know. It just felt relevant to frame the context of the set going into it, but I try not to think about it when I'm actually playing the games.
But you're aware it's there because it probably comes up.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a thing.
Have you ever tried like acknowledging that? Like just because I think that what you have here is. It sounds like you're having an anxious response to that information. Like the fact that like this guy usually beats you, the fact that this guy were like up like 17 and like 1,700 to like nothing, and if we lose to him, like I feel like we're gonna, then I think that part of the fear is like this is how things should go. Do you ever find yourself thinking that in the really stressful events? Like, this is how things should work. This is how things should be. This is what I should do.
I think I find myself, like, I will think about it, and then I will recognize that I thought about it and force myself to not. Like, I think that's a thing I do. Is I'll be like, okay, I don't need to be thinking about this. This isn't relevant. I just need to play the game in front of me. I'll just, like, try to reframe myself, because I know it happens subconsciously, but I try very hard to make it not a thing. Like I try not to, I guess.
That sounds really tiring because when I try not to do something that my mind is very, very concerned about, I find that usually it just gets mad at me, and like especially with emotions, Like if I'm afraid of something and I try not to be afraid of that thing or try not to think about it, I feel like I just get like it just gets worse most of the time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, do you ever have that with anything?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I find works better is just acknowledge that it's happening. Like just admit to myself that yeah, I like do care about the outcome of this set because I want to win and I'm a little nervous because I don't want to lose to this guy. But and then like I find once I do that, it's a little easier to work with the feeling. Because once I've kind of claimed it, I have a little more power over it, and it's not usually as upset with me for ignoring it. Because I think that's what happens. Like, once we try to, like, smush those feelings, they usually come out anyway, right?
Yeah.
So...
For sure.
Yeah. So what do you think, like, what's something that you could say to yourself to acknowledge that feeling without giving it, like, an excess of power? Like, without reveling in it, what's something we could say to it to let it know that we know it's there, and we accept it, but, yeah, it's not going to stop us from doing what we're trying to do.
I'm really not sure. I don't have an answer for you.
That's okay. Try. Like it would not be good form of me to expect you to have an answer to everything already pre-made, but like yeah, that's part of what we do here. We try things.
I don't know, something like I want to win the set. That's okay to want to do, but I have to perform to do that. So let's perform.
You're on the right track. I like the beginning of that. I like what I don't like is now we're like bossing our like subconscious we are bossing our subconscious around at that in the second part.
Yeah.
So like remember, they are doing the best job that they like. Our subconscious, us, they are already doing the best that they possibly can, with the focus and tools that we have made available to them. So I don't think they need to be told like just play well. I think what they need more is we will see what what you started with. It's okay to want to do well, and I want to do well. Why don't we try then naming the feeling? Like I'm feeling nervous. Like I am feeling a little nervous. I am a little shook right now. And then let's try maybe something reassuring, something that like helps us like make this like not the end of the world. What would that sound like to you? Like how would you phrase that?
Something. There will be more tournaments. This is not the only event. There's plenty of brackets that will happen in your lifetime.
I love that. I think that is such a good. I think that's such a good and accurate thing to tell ourselves. Like, yeah, there will be other events. We're nervous. Like, this is not the end of the world, but we still want to do well here, and that's okay. And I think if you do that and if you take a deep breath, reconnect with your senses, like actually feel how it feels when it fills your lungs, or what the air smells like, or something like that. Like we want to like make an observation about that physical sensation, and then if after that you then tell yourself that, I think that anxiousness turns into determination really easily, because that anxiousness is all it really is care. Like it's investment. It's investment that happens to be pointed at the wrong emotion. Because you care about the outcome and you're afraid that what happens if I don't do well. But I think by giving yourself a little reassurance and kind of painting some perspective, that becomes like the will to do your best so easily. Yeah, we need to help it get there, and I think that's how you do it. Does that make sense, or does it sound like complete magic or alien? Or
no, I definitely get it.
Okay. Do you think you'll do it though?
I think so. Yeah, I've been trying to implement just like refocusing my senses and like trying to get into the moment before bracket. I've started wearing like headphones when I'm playing in a tournament just to like try to be centered on myself, even when I'm like not in game, but just like at the venue or whatever. I'll try to like stay serene, I guess.
Okay. I mean, I applaud anyone who is taking steps proactively to to improve their performance. I think that all of those sound like great ideas. Do you ever find that any of them are a little isolating? I don't like headphones for that reason.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Would you say that you're extroverted, introverted? Like, do you like people hate them?
I think generally I'm pretty extroverted, like just in my life, but when I'm playing and like this is a feeling I've had for a while. Like when I'm like at locals or whatever, I feel like I'm not a fun person to be around. Just straight up.
Does that
And
bother
it's
you?
like a bit because like it's not the end of the world to me because like these are all my friends otherwise. We hang out outside of at the local. But it's also like I don't know, it's kind of just, especially because ASS, which is like the main Oregon local, is like it's a house tournament. There's really loud music going on. A lot of people are drinking. It's like it's a very laid back vibe, and so like I almost feel like I'm killing the vibe. I don't think I actually am, but it's like it's a little negative insecurity that's there in my brain. But
Do you feel like you're
it's
being
definitely
yourself
something to
though?
think about.
Because
What?
do you feel like you're being yourself? Because I get the impression that you probably are pretty extroverted. Like you're literally wearing a tag that says diva, and I can't help but think that like a wallflower vibe is not really you. But maybe I'm wrong. Like we just met, so I could be completely.
I think it depends on my energy on the day, and I find that playing in tournament takes a lot of energy out of me, which is kind of why I tend to do that at tournaments, just because I'm like trying to conserve energy so that I can actually play the game in bracket.
I think that you need to like this will sound weird or like probably reductive, but I really think that you need to loosen up and just be yourself because like it's just I know that like usually when people report being tired, I feel like trying to suppress how we actually feel about a situation is extremely exhausting.
Right.
And I think that that's where really one of the big advantages of acknowledgement of what we're feeling comes in because it encourages us also to carry a baseline respect towards towards both players because at the end of the day records don't really matter a whole lot. Great game, by the way. That was like stellar. I want to actually look at some of the things that happened there, but the reason I say records don't matter is because think about the times that you've are you ranked in your region?
The city PR just came out, and I was 14 out of 15. So I don't
So yes you are.
know.
Okay, cool. And
Yeah.
there was a time when, and in order to do that, presumably you had to beat, other people on that list, right?
Yeah. I have some wins.
I would bet that there's also people who are vying for those coveted slots that do not that you probably have very good records against, right? Probably beat.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But that wasn't always the case, was it? Right?
Yeah, sure. I don't know. I've never really thought about PRs that much. It's
Oh,
never like been a driving motivator for me.
no. But there's a
I
point.
think.
I promise there's a point to this. What I'm
Okay.
what I'm getting at though is, and in your journey to like upskill and get stronger and improve, there have been players at different milestones in your career, where you weren't favored against them, and now you probably are, right?
Right.
Okay, so that is your story. That all is happening because of the efforts and things that you are putting into your play, and that's all well and good. But we have to remember that we don't see the efforts and things that other people are putting into their play because we only get our perspective, right? So, in the same way that you came up and were able to beat people who were probably ahead of you in the in the overall rat race of getting onto the ranking, other people will be playing better too. So the record of like whether we're 17-0 and 17-0 with someone, it doesn't really matter because we don't get to see the improvements they're making elsewhere. They could show up one day and surprise us because that is just how fighting works.
Right.
So I think that there's like this is a very ruthlessly fair game, and because of that, it's one of the best things to keep in mind that I find helps with tournament nerves is just to remember we are going to do the best we can with the 50% of the say in the outcome that we are entitled to as one of the two players fighting. That does not mean that the opponent does not have their 50% of the say in the outcome. All it means is that we are going to respect that they have it, and we are going to do the very best we can with ours. But yeah, it is the same right to upset people stronger than us or above us that we have that lets us do our upsets. Everyone else is entitled to against us.
Yeah.
And that's just how it works. I hope that's not a buzzkill.
No, I get it. Yeah.
Okay. So, are you finding any of this helpful, or is this just kind of like stuff you've all heard before? Because I want this to work for you.
No, for sure. I think it's stuff I've definitely heard before, but it's like framed it in a different way, which is like better helping me understand it and comprehend it.
Okay, so what's working? So in like, what about how I'm framing it is working for you? I guess.
I think the like the 50%, like we were both entitled to 50% of the outcome is like a very good way to phrase it for me. Like I think it, like putting a number to it, and like I can better visualize, like, yeah, it ruthlessly fair also was a term that I really vibed with.
Yeah.
Because it is ruthlessly fair.
Yeah, like we're all subject to the same nonsense in the long run in this wonderful awful game.
Yeah, no, it's a terrible game. That's the best that's ever been made. It's great.
I know. Why do we do this? Because it's so fun. It's the funnest game. Like it's just. So what I really like about here, I think that I can tell the way that your game plan for this matchup seems to be a little bit more well defined here. So if I were gonna hazard a guess, I would say that you're trying to use your full hop to move either attack him when he's on the top platform, or to move around him, like when he's below you. You're using a lot of up smashes for anti-airs because he jumps a lot as a character. Yeah, like I think that you were also going for a lot of running shines, and you like to use your back air to like outrange him to like kind of like outmaneuver him or outrange him in diagonals. Would you say that's about like how you do this one?
Yeah, I've never thought about it like that at all, but that does, yeah.
Okay.
When you describe it, it makes a lot of sense, but like I've never put it into those words.
Okay, so how would you put it?
I don't know. I think I'm bad at game plans. I think like a lot of the study that I've done has been in like micro situations and getting good at that. And so like game plan, I've never really been able to. I don't think I've ever really had a written out game plan, at least for Falco. And so it's very much just like I just need to whiff punish. I just need to execute on my punish game. I need to not jump into him poorly. Is like I'll have tenets in my brain of things to do, but never like a holistic like, oh, I want to do this thing that does this thing and then makes him do this thing. Like it's just like, don't nair into him in the corner.
Why not?
It's because you get CC shined, or you'll get back aired, or you get up tilted. It's just the risk reward is very bad.
You could also get Sakurai angle into shine into double.
You could also get that, but it's like the situations where you get that, and the situations where you get CC shined.
You just like won the game for like
more.
You just won the game for nairing hit into the corner. I want to point that out.
Yeah, you know, that's the terrible thing about Melee is that sometimes you can do the bad thing. It doesn't matter because you win.
Why is this bad?
Oh well, I think this nair's fine. It's different because he's on the ledge.
Okay, so maybe it's like. Don't nair into the corner except when he's on the ledge. But what if we like attack him out of a laser?
Yeah, like that's good. But when I say don't nair into the corner, I think that like in my head I understand all the nuances of what I actually mean by that statement, but like that's not how I say it.
Okay, fair enough. I will trust you to know. In that case, let's go on to game 3 because I want to see what happens. I want to see what changes here. So I think that he's going to shoot more lasers, and that's going to be the problem if I had to hazard a guess.
I really don't remember. I haven't watched this setback. I meant to, but I got caught up with other stuff.
It happens. So, I think that he's going to shoot more lasers because I didn't really see many lasers on Yoshi's story, and I think it's because of the small level. So
yeah, that's why I counterpicked there.
Yeah.
That and the shines just kill him so quickly.
I am starting to see more lasers from him, which is like kind of what I expected. Do you know how you space around lasers? I know that.
It's like the Pokeball on Pokemon Stadium. Is how I've had it described to me.
Okay.
When you're on the outside of the Pokeball, then you can, if he does one laser, then you can react to the other stuff. Something like that.
Okay.
I'm probably explaining it poorly.
I measure his jump, but I mean, to each their own.
What do you mean measure his jump?
Let's see if it comes up. Like, I mean, like, so if we have Falco like dash, short hop, and laser and fast fall, that's kind of like a standard user unit of measurement for me. That would be one short hop, like one short hop laser. And I think with generally speaking, we want to be like either a little further than that, or we want to be a little closer than that.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because like if he's at that distance, he can like outrange us. Like he can shoot the laser pretty safely, and then if it hits us, then he can do another one because that's like the fiction thing.
Right.
And then if we stay in place, like if we attack him, the laser can hit. He can do the high-low laser with the the high-low laser mix-up, or he can also retreat and then like counter our approach, or put up a hitbox. So we have to like commit. We have to move over to him in order to hit him. Yeah. So he just has a lot of. He just basically has a good position. Like he's just got like the tools to keep us out and the tools to like go in should he choose to. That's part of why we full hop so much in this matchup, because it kind of like brick walls his short hop aerial approach.
Right.
But at that distance, we also can't like hit him with it. So it's like we can't really like use our main like our primary defense tool, like our primary anti-Falco approach tool to also like counter hit him if he doesn't come in either. So it's a very complicated like sort of stalemate, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But if we go like slightly further than that, then we have the take laser like dash back stuff, like dash back, dash in stuff.
Right.
But if we're closer, then our full hop, our like our running power shield, like our dash power shield, our dash jump cancel up smash, like nair and short up nair, like all of those are then suddenly possible. So yeah, it's kind of like a middle distance we want to be. I'm curious. I think he likes to kind of like go around you and like play this weird vertical game with the platforms, which is bizarre. I'm surprised you're not short hop up airing. See what I mean? Like he goes onto these side plats and stuff a lot. You know what I mean? Like, look.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is you go for this full hop up air, but what if we had just like stayed below him?
Yeah, I can just hit his toes.
Yeah, because you have the two hits. So then you could probably pop him up here.
I think I don't like short hopping when they're shielding on the platform like that, because I'm like scared of the shield drop dare or whatever, or like shield drop shine.
Okay.
But I probably don't need to be.
No, I would say definitely not. Like, so where do you think shine hits on his body exactly?
What do you mean?
So, like, you said you're worried about, like, shield drop shine if you do short hop aerial here. So what I'm asking is like, where do you think that shield drop shine hits?
Oh, no, it would definitely miss me. I'm agreeing that my thought process is bad, but I think that's just subconsciously why I'm making that decision.
Okay. So let's give you some things to actually do here and break this down a bit. So let's get to when he's on, like, when he first hits the platform. So, okay, we're just gonna pretend he's shielding. So let's get the snipping tool and we're gonna make a handy dandy diagram. So Falco above us when he's like jumping around with his full hop and stuff. So what I want to know is, where do you think his what do you think his full hop would be? Like, how would he get onto this platform from here with his full hop?
He'd do full hop and then landing dare.
Yeah. So if he jumps up, like, so let's say he jumps up straight in place, like from the floor, right? How high does his full hop go? It goes to the top plat, I think.
Yeah, it's like right under the 5 in the timer.
Cool. So like right about here.
Yeah.
Now, if he drifts left or right, how much aerial drift does he have, in either direction?
I think that's about it. Maybe a bit more. Yeah, I think 69 is a funny number, but yeah, I think that feels right.
Perfect. Yeah, I'd agree with that. So 69, and then obviously it goes in both ways, so let me grab that one as well. So, the reason I like... part of why I kind of like the short hop up air stuff is because if we go up early, like, with him going up to this position, if we full hop... Like, think about how difficult it is for us to go up with our full hop here, right? Because in order for him to, for us to be able to full hop him... like full hop at him, we have to like kind of like, we're not really able to wait out this down air effectively with it, right?
Yeah.
So that's like that's the first problem I kind of want to point out with this, with the current game plan. So with that in mind, let's talk about what we do with this shield, because I think that using our short hop up air is pretty important in this matchup. So I want to kind of like understand what we do about this guy. So in addition to short hop up air, we probably aim it to like hit around here, right?
Right.
Cool. So we're gonna do that here. What other options can you think of that would be good here, like when he lands on this side plot here?
Turn my back to him and do full hop bear towards center stage.
Okay. Yeah. And why? So if he's facing this way, why are we turning our back to him? Why are we turning our back when we do that? Like, why are we what side are we hitting his shield on?
I want to hit the left side of the shield with my back air.
Okay.
So that I can land in center, and then if he tries to hit me for it, I can dash in and kill him.
Okay, cool. So like bear. So basically bearing on this side, it kind of like we go here and then we come up, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Or we could actually go this way, then come up that way. That's
the one I was thinking of.
Okay. So, if that's the case, could we also do... Could we, like, best of both worlds this kind of? Like, could we dash this way? I hate Battlefield background. We need a better color. There we go. Could we dash this way and then do the same thing but coming at him this way with short up air? So it kind of would look like this.
Yeah.
Okay, that seems pretty good. The other thing I want to consider here, is there any merit to full hopping this way and then using the edge cancel, like the teeter cancel here with like, say, back air or something?
Probably. I would never do it, but
why not?
Because it's just not like something in my toolkit right now. But I could. It's definitely an option I haven't thought about.
Yeah. So, fair enough.
I think in my head, I think I even do it here, but like I know that full hopping onto the platform with the shielding Falco is like not something I like. Like being in lag, and that's like if I stood exactly where I am right now and then did a full hop and then land bared, I know that that's bad. And so in my mind, I don't really think about the teeter cancel as an option, but it makes sense.
Yeah, because like the idea here is that what we're doing is we're basically jumping like this, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So then what we're doing is we're probably timing the back air around here, right?
Right.
And then like fast falling right after. And then we could potentially like up tilt. We could maybe shield. We could maybe like fall through platform back air to like his shield will be smaller.
You get all the frame advantage in the world.
Yeah, and his shield will be smaller too, so we can maybe nick his leg because his leg is going to be sticking out there.
Yeah.
So I think that like we have a lot more options, and I think that like this makes a lot of sense. One of the other options we could consider if he's full hopping around here is we don't necessarily have to stay under him. If we know that he's full hopping like this way and coming down, we can also play outside of the triangle, right? Like outside of the fall zone and outspace him laterally. Because we kind of have his trajectories, right?
Yeah.
And like not having to even interact with this shield probably is kind of good, because if we can just hit him out of the air with like, say, like let's say we, instead of like dash dancing here, we dash like this way, right?
Yeah.
And then come up with this and like back air around like this area, then like that'll actually attack him for being in this spot, because we just bonk him in his head here, which is generally good for us. So it also lets us keep center more aggressively. That can be good and bad. Like I think the up air is like the thing that because of his percent, I'm thinking up air, but yeah, just food for thought. You've gone quiet. Are you processing or?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about it.
Sure. Any ideas you want to share?
Yeah, I don't know. I think this situation is not like in tournament is one that I find myself playing wrong or poorly more than anything else. Like I very often am doing an up air like this, or I'm trying to do like a landing bear that is just bad, or I'm just like sitting under him trying to up tilt, and then he reads my timing and then dares me for it. Like I think like this is a spot where I get antsy often.
Oh, gotcha. So probably having a game plan here, formalizing it, that makes a lot of sense. The cool thing that I'm glad you brought up, like up standing under him and up tilting, because you know how we like this one is kind of like the up air line, like the short hop up air that we talked about. We could also do it this way too, in the same way. And you notice we're kind of like off to his side now. So if he comes down, like we could totally up tilt here after. And if we
like do the up air and then up tilt.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a frame trap, because if he comes down with down air, we're outside of its range. But if he comes down with back air, maybe we trade, but like we launch him and knock him over and we take 15. But like
I did that versus Yoshi. I've never thought about doing that versus Falco.
Yeah, it makes sense versus Falco. They both come down after their shields get hit.
For sure.
Yeah. So I think that like I'm gonna give this to you because you keep the diagrams, but
Yeah,
I strongly recommend like trying to think about it in terms of the different moves we have to like just thinking about it as it's almost like the undershoot, overshoot, whiff punish thing in a way, in that we're taking advantage of the fact that Falco can't really overshoot because he's in shield, right? So we're creating traps for him to run into, and kind of like creating opportunities for us to whiff punish him or cut him off for like trying to move out of shield.
Right.
Yeah, because he's contained. Yeah, like we keep going up there, but there's no reason for us to have to do that.
No, it's bad. I don't want to be there. It's scary.
I think there's reasons that we could have for going up there. I just don't think they're like. I just don't think we're playing to them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Again, it's that nuance thing, because I don't like this is bad, because to me that kind of like. I know that our smart thinking brain knows all the nuances and stuff, but I assure you are like in the moment when we start like providing corrective talk, I guess, to our subconscious, I don't think that it all it hears is you're failing, you're doing bad. And I feel like that's when we run into problems.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So IFD.
The punish game's really good for Fox. And I really don't like dealing with Falcos on platforms, just generally. Okay. I think in the moment, I remember playing this game, I probably should have done FOD. If I were to play the setback, I'd go FOD here instead of FD. But, like, when I think about how I want to counterpick this matchup, Yoshi's and then FD is, like, what's going through my head.
I think that's a pretty standard pick order, so I'm not going to say that you're wrong or anything. But I will say that, like, I am not sure I agree with the metagame on this one. I think that this is still a very good Falco level, real talk.
I think I agree. It's just, I think what I'm feeling good about the punish game, which I was at this tournament, I should have up air there. Why am I doing that? Oh my god, okay.
So let's talk, like, what should we have done? Like, what should we have done here?
I mean, up air, I could have turned around and done back air instead of jumping out. I could have done this shine still, but then play the situation after better.
Couldn't you just up smash him?
Maybe. He's just really high, so, like, I would think that I can't. Yeah, probably, looking at it now.
Yeah, like, he's probably in stun to, like... He's probably in stun to, like, here. I feel like you can just get that.
I definitely have up smashed in this spot before.
So, okay, let's say that we don't think we can get it. So, like, you get the shine, and then... I think that you just like double jump back onto like ledge, right? And then just like ledge hop bear.
Yeah, double jump back to ledge. That's probably the safer thing. In this spot, I like to do bear a lot. It's kind of the danger. I don't know why it shine here.
It's not that dangerous. Like, I'm looking at the position, and I think you're right. I think that like if you because you turn around, you jump.
No, I wasn't saying it's dangerous. I was saying it's the danger, like my tag, because I do it a lot. It's like an option that I do a lot, so I'm naming it after myself.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, no, I mean, like, the back air makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's really good. But going to ledge also probably would have worked.
accomplishes the same thing, really.
Oof.
Yeah, brutal double jump.
So this is like one of those games where like everything is like going south, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, would you say that you're aware that this is one of those games at this point, like when you get illusioned?
Yeah, right here, I remember laughing to myself because I know I went for some dumb shit, and I was like, oh, this set is... I think in my mind, I was like, oh, this set's probably over. I should have gone FOD, I think is what I thought.
We're gonna delete should from your vocabulary when you're in tournament. Like,
Okay.
that is the like, I think that you can still keep your observations, but should is a prediction, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So I think
Right.
that a better word, I think, would be could.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because we don't want to like delete that. We don't want to delete the thought entirely, because then we're just suppressing again. But I think it's like, oh, I could have gone FOD, but I'm here now. So,
Yeah.
Whereas should is like, it's a judgment, it's an evaluation, and that's what we're trying to like not do. Because yeah,
Definitely.
because I think this is definitely the point at which you are zoned out. Because you just jumped into Falco's forward smash at the end of a combo.
I jumped into it. I mean, I didn't even try to ledge dash. I did like a ledge hop into nonsense.
Into Falco's back air.
Yeah, like it's just...
He's definitely gonna like hit you out for something.
I think I tried to relock in here.
I can actually
If I
see that.
remember.
Yeah, I can actually see that because yeah, your dash dance is back. Like it's now like playing with Okay. Honestly, and I wonder. Now I'm probably just reading too far into it, but it's like I'm noticing you're playing kind of like Leffen, I'm like, I wonder if the
That's really funny you say that. There's this. I was playing in a tournament on stream one time, some netplay tournament, and a friend of mine posted a chat like, sometimes Danger looks like Leffen, and then after a stock, they look like Danger again. It was like what they said verbatim in the chat while I was playing a set, and it's just funny that you said that because I've heard it before.
But like you see what I mean, like the structured dash dance, the emphasis on anti-airs, using the full hop back air, like the safe safe consistent B&Bs, but like there's a little bit of flavor. It's not just like pure B&B. Like this is very William-esque.
Definitely one of the biggest influences of my play, I'd say, is Leffen.
When you locked
KJH.
this stock was gorgeous. Like this stock, everything you're doing right now is like, yeah, this is the type of play that gets you like that can get you into bracket at like a BOBC kind of thing, because this is good. And I think that what it speaks to, like you said that you tried to lock in. How did you do that?
I don't know. I just like I think it's a thing I'll do with my hands. I'll like shake my hands as if they're wet. I'll do that, like while I'm on the angel plat or something, or I'll get like shivers almost, but intentionally, and just like refocus how I'm sitting, reframe myself, and like try to physically get into it.
So there we go. So you know how I've been telling you about reconnecting with your senses, right? And how that's like a way that we can ground ourselves. You're doing that. You're just not using like breath, like smell or the feeling. You're not using touch in your lungs or like or the smell of the or smell. You're using touch in your hands.
Yeah.
So what I'd say is, okay, cool. So that's already something that you do sometimes that works for you, right?
Yeah.
So I would say, if that's what you do and it already works for you, what's involved in getting this in intentionally shivering? Like, is it something that, like, can you just do it while you're holding the controller and playing, or is it something that...
I play on box, so it's just sitting on my lap.
Okay, cool. But could you, like, do inputs while you're making that happen?
Maybe.
Okay.
I've never tried or thought about doing that.
Okay, but what I'm getting at is, if you already have a system that works, certainly on the Angel platform, whenever you note, or if the opponent's respawning, I would shake out your hands. I would also strongly recommend that any of the more like psychological stuff we've talked about, like acknowledging the feeling, all that stuff, combine it with the things that you already do, because I think that's really the best way to reset. If you have a system that works for you, because you know you better than I do, use the existing systems to your advantage, and just enhance them. And if you need to like come up with if you need a faster method, or one that's not as that doesn't occupy your hands really, like that's really one of the big advantages of breathing, using it as the grounding technique, because it just doesn't like require the thing that we're also using to control our character.
Yeah.
So if you want to even pursue that for that reason, that can be a worthwhile idea too. But I think that is like what I really hope is coming through. What I really hope is coming through is that's kind of evidence that this method, that what I'm describing in terms of using a grounding technique and then like evening ourselves out psychologically by accepting the feeling and then just kind of rolling with it, that stock there where you played probably the best you did in the set, yeah, like that's exactly what you did. So you can trust in the process. I assure you it works. And if you need the proof, you have it.
Right.
Yeah. So what I'm expecting, are there any other situations in this matchup that you wanted to go over? We have a few minutes left. Do you want to recap? Like, how do you view our last few minutes together being productive?
I think a recap, something that I can write down, so I have like a note of it that I can look back on. That I have like a Discord server that is only me, and whenever I have melee notes or I'll like watch VODs of someone with someone or something, I'll just paste them in there so I can look at it on my phone whenever I want.
Sure. So I would say that like the big thing versus Falco. We'll divide this into Falco and mentality. So let's do mentality first, just because we can kind of get it out of the way. Mentality, I would say, in order for emotions and feelings like nervousness, anxiety, they really just clog up our mental stack. So in order to deal with those, we need to, like, it's inefficient to fight them. Usually recognizing them and acknowledging them, accepting them, whatever you want to call it, that's usually more effective because we can then engage with them. They don't fight back as much. From there, using any kind of physical grounding technique, which you already do, like shaking out the hands, inducing shiver. We've talked about breathing as a possible solution. All of those are really useful. And the one thing is you want to be intentional about it. So in the breathing one, it's making that observation. Yeah, like making an observation about how it smells, making an observation about how it feels when it fills your lungs. Inducing the tingle and shaking out your hands, that's a decision that certainly with the hands one, it takes your hands off the controller, which is I think part of why it works, because you have to decide to do it. That's really the key. There's a decision in there. And then beyond that, yeah, once you do that, I think that a lot of times it just kind of solves itself. Because the feeling, we're able to work with it, and usually it just turns into something more useful anyway, if not just goes away. Yeah. So I can write that. I can probably jot that out. I don't know if you were typing, but
I've been typing it out. Yeah, I got a notepad up.
Perfect. So, and then for the Falco side of things, I guess you have the diagram, but what I would say is, if we're going to if we're going to full hop in response to his full hop when he's going onto platforms, we want to have a good reason to do that over short hopping. Good reasons would include using the teeter effectively, to like get tons of frame advantage and potentially create like an opening off that. Another good reason would be if we're doing like low aerial into shine, so that we can basically do a block string on the platform itself to try to catch his shield drop. Playing outside his fall trajectories, which doesn't mean we necessarily go on the platform, but it's a way that we can maybe outrange him when he's coming down. Those would all be very good reasons to full hop. Otherwise, staying below him and looking for short hop up air, looking for short hop up air into like up tilt, into dash dance to like bait him for coming down if he tries to shield drop early, or even just taking center stage with it and seeing what he does, and like observing, seeing what he does. Like those are all very strong plays, and they involve up air. so very rewarding plays. And then I guess for the last of it, I mean, like, you already know the laser spacing stuff, but yeah, just as a reminder, it's based on his jump. So we want to be, like, where he wants to be is about one short hop, fast fall, one dash, short hop, fast fall away from us. That's where he wants to be, and we want to be either about half of that, we want to be about half of that, or about 1.5 of that away from him. Because one of them is good for offense, and the other one opens up the take laser stuff.
Wait, you want to be 1.5?
Or half.
Okay.
Like, he wants to be one of his dash short hop, one of his dash short hop fast falls away from us. We want to be either half of that, i.e. closer, or further than that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, we just want to be, like, outside of it or inside of it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, are you excited for your tournament?
I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of whatever on it. It's an Arcadian. I've kind of lost the fire to really perform at an Arcadian. Like, all the really good players are banned. That's like who I want to play against. I don't know.
How are you allowed? Aren't you ranked?
So it's the city PR, but for the Arcadian, only the state PR is banned. So like the Oregon PR is banned, but not the Portland PR.
Oh, okay, I see. So
like the only reason the Portland PR is 15 people long is because the Oregon PR is only 10 people long, and so they needed it to be different somehow. And so then it's the Portland PR has more people and is a shorter period than the Oregon PR, which is why I don't really care about it, because it's like they're just adding more slots for the sake of adding more slots. I don't know.
So where would you say that you fall if you had to estimate? You can give me a ballpark too. But where would you say in your state you would be if you had to rank yourself?
In the state? Where would I rank myself? Probably top 20, like 18, 17, something like that. There's probably people I'm forgetting, but
so top 17 to 25-ish. Probably.
Yeah, in that range.
Okay. And you said you'd say 10-person PR?
Yeah.
Do you have any? Are you trying to get onto that 10-person PR?
Not really.
Okay.
I don't know. PRs feel kind of dumb to me.
Fair enough. Either way, I hope you have fun at the tournament. And I hope that you get whatever you're looking to get out of it. And yeah, before we kind of call it, because we are at time, but do you have any feedback for me on how did you find this went? Do you have any feedback for me? Yeah.
Yeah, I think this was good. I'm happy with it. I think it was worth the money that I spent.
Always a good sign.
Feedback? I don't really know. I was surprised to see you pulling out like the protractor and the ruler and paint. I hadn't seen someone do that before. That was mind blowing. I didn't know those were things that existed.
Well, did it work for you, or do you find it?
Yeah, no. I think it's a very good way to visualize that.
Okay, good. Well, if you ever want to do one of these again, I had a good time too, so just feel free to hit me up. And yeah, beyond that, I'm gonna, I do have somebody who's coming up, so I do have to go, but yeah, if you have any questions about the concepts we talked about here today, feel free to send them my way, and I'll do my best to answer them when I have time. And beyond that, yeah, best of luck at the tournament, and I hope you have a great time.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
All right, later.
Bye.